All right, hello everybody. How we doing? Getting crazy out there, isn't it? Yeah, I just wanted to cover a couple things real quick, which again is none of this is going to matter shortly, so it is what it is. Okay, so we had the Maui fire, right? We have the fire going on around the LA area, and that's significant too. But within that fire, well, we also had the Paradise fire and we had the Texas fire, right? Now, the reasons we have all these fires, I keep saying all these things happen in threes and fours because of the time frames. Okay, they're not all going to happen at once. The whole earth isn't going to burn up again like it did before. It's all symbolic. Um, Now, see how these are spread out also? That's the way the timeline is broken up. So when you read in the Bible about how it has to tarry, okay, what is a tarry? Well, if you've ever had to weigh out anything like grains in a bullet or anything like that, you always set the scale to zero, right? That's called a tare. So to tarry is to set all the broken timelines back to the same moment in time. These are all spread out. So, like I said, we're kind of pulling them into each other. This one's coming into here, coming into here. This is the process box. We're processing all this right here. This is why there's been multiple attempts on Trump's life. Okay? Because it happened here, it happened here, it happened here, and I'm just telling you. I'm not here to change anybody's opinion on anything, okay? Y'all are free to believe whatever you want, just like I'm free. The thing I find crazy is there's people who have known me and stay in touch with me since my high school days, and it's okay. A lot of them think I'm crazy too, but what I find ironic about that is through life and even back in high school, those people could not keep up with me. Not just in grades either. It was through all of life. They were scared of every little thing. Every little thing. I don't want to ditch my class. I don't want to speed. I don't want to get caught. You know, I wasn't a rebel rouser, but I lived my life. Okay, that's just how it works. So anyway, back to the fire in L.A. Okay, energy cannot be destroyed. It just changes, right? So, what once used to be, and I said this in a podcast, if you checked out any of the podcasts I did with Raven, energetically, what you see here, what used to be a UFO showing up over, say, Florida or Los Angeles, and I said there's even a movie out there called Battlefield LA, which deals with aliens, right? Um, the stories that they put in the movies, those are the stories. You don't have to believe it or even like it. I'm not here to pander anybody's beliefs. Those are the actual stories they're telling you. So what once used to be a UFO turns into a tropical storm. And because everything was burnt, it's on fire now. They even had a thing not too long ago where aliens were seen in LA, right? It's all the same energy, different timelines. Period. I'm just That's just how it is. And actually that's why I've been doing a lot more of the community stuff than the actual videos, because it takes so long to upload a video in this service delinquent area that I'm in. Um, it's just easier to post something, and if people see it, they see it. If not, that's great. But anyhow, so and all this timeline is, so if you just take a picture, right, just grab any old picture like this one right here, and let okay, so remember back in the old days, you had something called slides, and you would do slide shows, and they even had little things for the kids, right? The viewfinders, right? You stick the little thing in it and click it, and it has the little windows that you see through, and it shines light. Okay, so pretend you have like 4 slides of this picture, and they're all stacked up, and they all look the same. And now you just kind of spread them out a little bit. And I said in another video, I think again it was in that podcast, when you look at the Da Vinci drawing of man and he's got 4 arms and 4 legs, that's just man out of phase. That's all this is. It's just everything out of phase. And as the timelines are collapsed, which you can look into even Operation Looking Glass, and if you dig through that, get through all the malarkey, they tell you right in those papers that they cannot stop the collapsing timelines. And we don't want them to stop, trust me. I've been telling people for a long time, everything you see around you is wrong, period. Everything. From the building of buildings to, it's all wrong. And even Trump has said we're going back to the golden age, right? Because right now we're in the iron age. That's why there's a boat out there that travels the harbor all the time. And I talked about this in a video called Old Iron Sides. We're all the way back in time, way back. So it is what it is. And there's a lot of stuff going on, right? You've got the Blue Origin rocket trying to take off. Okay, so just like this bit with with Hamas and the hostages, 33 is a pretty big number. Have you seen that number out there? That's 6, right? Number of man. We are the hostages. If you don't think you're a hostage here, then you have no idea what's how freedom works and who's doing what. Okay, it says right there, and let me give you a simple breakdown. In the Bible, it says God breathed into the earth and created man. Now, whether you believe that or not, I don't really care. But the whole point of that story is, and I'm pretty sure we lived, because in the very beginning there was a void, just like there's a void out there now. We're under the dome. They ain't sending rockets nowhere, right? Everybody knows that, or should have a clue of that by now. Okay, it's nothing but a void out there. There's no Planet X coming in. All that crap is gone. The Big Bang that created what you see is what they tell you, right? The Big Bang created all this. That was the destruction of everything. That's why there's an asteroid belt out there. That's why Saturn has rings around it. Is what it is, okay? So, that was the destruction of everything. So, anyway, getting back to God breathed and created man, there was no earthly man here. That's what we would call an immaculate conception. I've talked about this. So the whole Jesus story is the story of us. That's why when you look at Brother Dana and some of these other people that I posted their stuff, if you look at how they're breaking down the Bible and all this other stuff, yeah, they're still going off the church teachings of they're waiting for Jesus. They don't understand it's us that are the prisoners. It is what it is. They're free to think what they want, but they're doing the breakdown, right? So they're all tracking all this, just they're doing it a different way than I am. I'm watching the signs out there in the world, people like Trump and the fires and the rockets being launched, because that's all part of the story. they're tracing it through the Bible writings, okay? That's why it appears that way in the sky and everything, because all that stuff has already happened. It's a book of his story, just like every other reference material about history on this planet. Okay, just like, especially when they talk about the days of Atlantis, okay? Nostradamus, man turned on man and destroyed the earth. Okay, so that would be in this United States, because again, the United States, that's why Trump is saying we're going to annex Canada and part of Mexico. All of this is part of a particular planet that was divided up and broken. Okay, just like Russia, China, they all come from different times, different places, and if you look, they're all segmented, right? You got North and South Korea, they're not united, right? Because it all got fractalized, put into civil war, however you want to do it. So when you look at our civil war, nothing existed prior to that or after that. That's when man turned on man, and it's because that was happening here in this country where the gods came from. Again, that's why the heifers came out of Texas. And old Ponce de Leon, whatever his crazy name is, was looking for the fountain of youth in Florida. That's part of this landmass. Okay? And, just like you can look up and there's a satellite hovering over the North Pole of the moon, if you believe that crap, and its name is Lucy. Plug that into all your stories about Lucy and yada, yada, yada. And I've said that's how they hid themselves, was in the magnetic fields of the poles. That's why all the armies come out of the north, and all these stories, they came in from which is Antarctica. If you turn it upside down, which is probably why there's a UFO buried underneath the ice down there. And that's why the beast came out of the ocean, because they went into the ocean. And you can just follow the story. And if you look for the changes in the timeline, that's, you can, I do anyway. I just try to point out what I see. Like I said, I don't expect anybody to believe anybody, and you're perfectly okay to continue to think I'm crazy. But yeah, so the fires are going. There's 5 different fires, which goes back to the beast of 5 heads and 10 horns. The 5 heads represent continents. Okay, the 10 horns are the government structures that were put within those continents, right? I've talked about this. That's why there's 5 fires. So theoretically, symbolically, everything's burning up right now. All of it. All of it. That's why we're carbon-based. I've talked about this. It all burned up. It's not really going to happen again. Just symbolically, we're in that timeline. I've said it a million times. That's why they manipulate the weather. They don't create the weather. They can only manipulate it, right? Because how else can you do in the days of Noah if you can't make it flood somewhere? I'm just saying. It is what it is. So, with that said, based on some of the timelines these guys are charting, which, I looked at it like, Putin said that, he was going to attack the United States by Christmas. Well, the Orthodox calendar had Christmas as, I think, January 13th, or no, January 7th. 6th or 7th, but that's why the fire started in LA about that same time period. They didn't launch nothing. It's just symbolic. He said he was going to launch something. Lo and behold, a fire starts over here. It is what it is. So, that started, whatever, the fires grew from there. I think, like I said, they're up to 5 individual named fires within that one fire. So that's significant. So, to me, the timeline ended somewhere around there, between the 6th and the 13th. There's even a song out there called The Long December, because theoretically, Christmas, we look at Christmas. Remember, these timelines are all spread out. So Christmas here is the same as Christmas back here, which that's completely a different month now. So this is the long December. We're still in December, and we've got another cold plunge coming this weekend, according to all the weather reports, right? And I've said before that before we go up, we make that last plunge down, because we're bringing hell with us. We're going down there, grabbing hell by the ankles, so to speak, and pulling everything up with us. So enjoy the ride. It's going to seem crazy. Just ignore it all. If you want to avoid the craziness, just don't turn on any of your devices. Everywhere I go in my little bubble, my world, everybody's happy. Everybody's doing fine. Yeah, everybody's got struggles. I mean, everybody shops. They're all paying the same stupid prices for food and gas. They all see it. But half the stuff that's going on in the news, if you try to talk to somebody about it, either they're not paying attention to it, or they hadn't heard that yet, which is great. I think that's great that people aren't watching the news and getting all wrapped up in this fear porn of World War III and all the stuff that's going to go on around the inauguration day. And it's just crazy. Just remember, when the hostages are agreed to be released, right? That's us. As long as they're agreed, that it's been agreed, we're going to be released. It's just a matter of timing. This is the Terry part. where they're ironing things out, I guess. Who the hell knows? But these timelines are just going to come back together, and then poof, that'll be that. And just like that, in the flash of an eye, blink of an eye, everything. And, part of that flash could be that our eyes on the other side open and the light comes in. Just saying. So, having said that, this is going to take another 3 hours to upload, 4 hours because it's 15 minutes or whatever. So, enough of that. Just stay warm, stay safe, love everybody. Stay away from the news and all the drama. You'll do much better. Love you all. Take care. Bye bye.